This is more Doug DeMuro, and today we're going to talk about BMW. Oh, BMW. There have been some bizarre posts on social media and some cars that don't really fit with what you think about BMW. So there's a lot to cover, so let's get started. Before I get started, check out Cars and Bids, which is my online enthusiast car auction website and the best place to buy and sell cool cars from the modern era. We've had some amazing sales recently, including this 1992 Infiniti Q45, which sold for $27,000, under 9,000 miles. This Mercedes SLS AMG Roadster, which sold for over $170,000, and this Toyota Land Cruiser, which sold for $26,000. If you're looking to sell your cool car from the modern era, Cars and Bids is the place to do it. And if you're looking to buy a cool enthusiast car from the 80s and up, we have an amazing selection with daily auctions. Check it out, carsandbids.com. Okay, so BMW, everyone's second favorite German car brand. 20 years ago, I want to tell you a little slight history lesson here. 20 years ago, it's 2001, and BMW was making the best lineup of cars in their history. In fact, I think it's one of the best lineups of cars ever assembled. It was like the 95-96 Chicago Bulls. You think that it's never going to be beaten by any brand at any time ever. 2001 BMW. You had the E38 740i, the best looking sedan, the end of the run of the E38, perfect car. E39 M5, absolute legend. You had the S54 M Coupe and the M Roadster with the big engines. You had the X5 just coming out. Gorgeous first-gen X5, sort of the beginning of the performance luxury SUV with its manual transmission. It was just a great entrant into the SUV world. You had the Z8, one of the most beautiful modern cars ever. You had the E46 M3. It was just an amazing lineup. Well, 20 years later, things have changed. BMW has been like making fun of people on Twitter. That's where it's gone. And the products, frankly, couldn't be more different. So what is going on at BMW? Okay, first, let me take you through some of what I'm talking about, what is happening with BMW right now. A couple of months ago, BMW comes out with the new iX, and it's like an electric SUV. I'll cover it in a second. But as part of the marketing campaign, they post this tweet saying, like someone's making fun of them, saying, go back to making old BMWs, and then they post a reply of theirs saying, okay, boomer, but what's your reason not to change? I guess this is BMW trying to seem like one of the cool kids, making fun of people who are nostalgic for the old BMWs and calling them boomers that aren't changing. Like, ha 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 ha, this is the future, and if you're not part of it, well then you're a boomer. That was kind of the tone of the tweet, whatever. Well, there's a huge backlash, naturally, for a lot of reasons. Number one, a lot of BMW's customers are literally boomers, and they've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with this brand over the years getting cars. And then two, I mean, it was kind of condescending, frankly. It was like, oh, look, we're one of the young people. We say, okay, boomer. Look how hip we are. There's a lot of backlash to this tweet. And then a few days later, BMW apologizes for it. But then a couple of weeks after that, BMW USA tweets out, tell us you drive a BMW without telling us you drive a BMW. Now this is a big fad on social media, like tell us you have a blank without telling us you have a blank. And then people like tell us you have a golden retriever without telling us you have a golden retriever. And then people post a picture of a lot of like shedded hair on the floor, and it's like, okay, haha. But of course this tweet, I mean, what did they think was gonna happen? You can imagine, insane backfire. The comments were brutal. Here are a few of them. Tell us you have a BMW without telling us you have a BMW. I spent more repairing my car than I paid for it. Another one, wow, so many warning lights. Another one, the sealed for life timing chain snap, trashing the engine. Ooh, we all know what car he's talking about. Here, another one, spends more time in the workshop than on the road. And my favorite one, this is the best. Tell us you own a BMW, tell us you own a BMW. Sat on the side of the highway when my SUV's chiming chain chewed up the rail guides and blew up my engine on my 39th birthday 200 miles from home. At 70,800 miles, it wasn't covered under the 70,000 mile warranty, but I'm getting the class action. I'm getting the class action check next month, so that's nice. I mean, this was only gonna go poorly. So obviously that was another social media backfire. And clearly, to be clear here, this is by design. BMW is embracing the tell me you drive without telling me you drive and the okay boomer. They're trying to appeal to younger people. That's very clear from them doing this. And to me, the reason for that is clear. BMW sees the future as electric, and they see that they are not the top dogs in the electric car world anymore. They are not the coolest brand in the electric space. Not even close. That, of course, would be Tesla. All the young people want Teslas. All the people coming out of school, all people are striving for, working for Tesla. Tesla, that's the big thing everybody wants. And BMW, for the first time in a long time, finds themselves on the outside looking in. And so this youth-oriented social media campaign that's been backfiring, that's what comes out of it. And also, out of it comes the iX. So, let's discuss the iX. BMW revealed the iX, which is a new electric SUV they're going to come out with, and it's designed to rival, I guess, the Tesla Model Y. And they come out with this thing, and the backlash is instantaneous and harsh. I mean, literally everyone I've ever met ever thinks it's ugly. Now, I personally actually don't even think it's that bad, except for the grille, which, the grill. BMW's really driving home that kidney grill thing. But, so, that's the new BMW. You have an electric SUV with a massive grill that everybody thinks is ugly and is making fun of, and they're making fun of people on Twitter. Like, that's BMW now. So what happened? The truth is, I think BMW is more lost right now than it seems. I think they are kind of going down the wrong track, and right now it seems like things are going okay, but I think they're heading dangerously, kind of snowballing into a bad space. And I think it's going to take some serious effort to get back on track. Go back to 2001 for a second, like the start of this. BMW is one of the most desirable brands on the planet. And like I said, an amazing lineup of cars. It was truly incredible. And everyone wanted a BMW. When I was a kid, growing up in the 90s, the 2000s, you aspired, that's what you wanted. You want to have a BMW. It was cool. Well, 20 years later, they've kind of lost that. They've kind of lost that allure. The few sporty BMWs that are left have pretty much substituted technology for power. And they're very fast, and they're incredibly adept cars at speed and horsepower, but they don't have like that thrill, that little live car, toss it around kind of feel that they used to. The connected feeling is gone. They've got a lot of technology, they've got a lot of power, but they're not as spry as they used to be. I mean, just think of the huge difference between today's M5 and the older one. Today's is faster, surely, but it's a huge car that gives you stock updates while you drive down the street. It's just not the same. Instead, the BMW lineup is dominated by crossovers. The X1, the X2, the X3, the X4, the X5, the X6, the X7, they have 7 different SUVs, very different from your past BMW. So the enthusiasts have been lost. And frankly, that's okay, honestly. A lot of enthusiasts will be watching this video right now and they will be aghast that I would say it, but the truth is the enthusiast market is small. BMW at the end of the day does not exist to cater to car enthusiasts. They are here to make money, to make a profit, to increase the share price. That's the goal. 2001, the year I loved so much from BMW, they sold 213,000 cars in the States. 2015, which I think was their peak, they sold 346,000 cars. Things went way up. So searching for a large audience actually worked for BMW, except that now it's failing. BMW, like many of its rival brands, has been totally blindsided by Tesla. They've started to lose a lot of this mainstream audience they've spent so much time developing over the last decade. And BMW has been totally without a strong, cohesive EV game plan to try to stay ahead of Tesla, which is interesting because at the very start of the EV revolution, BMW is one of the early brands that came out with the i3, and then soon after that they came out with the i8. Those were several years ago now, and they were both the BMW of the future, the electric, fun BMWs. This is how BMW mobility will be in the future, except they were both vastly hated by critics, and they were going to make a bunch more i models, but the reception of the i3 and the i8 was so bad that these cars cost BMW so much to develop that they just went back to the drawing board. Well, what apparently has happened since is they came out with the iX and then the OK Boomer tweets. And that's what they're thinking. Here's how we get back with young people. Here's how we pull them back from Tesla. We give them performance, they want that. We give them an SUV, they want that. And we use their language. But now that's backfiring too. Young people don't want to be condescended to by a brand on social media. It's so clear when that's happening. And you just think this whole thing, it's got the markings of like, we want to be hip on social media, but we're still a German company. So we don't really know how to do that. So like, let's try to be somewhat hip and maybe that'll work. But the truth is, if you want to really be funny and fun on social media, you gotta just embrace it, like Wendy's or some of these brands that are just funny. And that might come in a corporate, it might not look as professional, but the Germans will never go for that. And doing it halfway leads to stuff like this, apologizing for tweets you sent out. But it goes beyond just condescending to younger people. BMW just isn't as cool anymore as it once was. It simply isn't. And I think we might be seeing the erosion of this brand over the last 15 years. 2001, BMW was everybody's aspiration. And they said, wait, we can take this brand name and we can build on it. We can make an X3 and we can make an X2 and we can make an X6 and we can sell the BMW that everybody wants, but now you can get it as a crossover for $299 a month. And by doing that, they got more sales and it benefited them in the short term. And I'm sure the share price benefited, but now they're seeing the drawback of doing this because BMWs in 2021 are no longer special. 20 years ago they were, now they're not. And so back then everybody wanted to aspire to one. Now it's just seen as kind of a commodity. Everybody has an X3 and X5. They're easy to find. They're all over. They lease for nothing. You can get a white one with normal options and it's just not special. And so when a new shiny thing comes along, Tesla, people aren't loyal to BMW. It was special once, now they just move on. And that's what the fallout of what BMW is seeing now. And frankly, based on the iX and their new styling language with the crazy front grille that everybody hates, and the tweets, it seems to me that BMW doesn't really know how to get this back. They really don't. And if you ask the executives at BMW who have been there, they would tell you they were totally blindsided. It basically happened overnight. The Model S comes out in 2012. And basically within 5 years, it went from BMW is the coolest brand to pretty much everybody wants a Tesla. And so BMW lost the enthusiasts when they went mainstream. Well, now they're losing the mainstream too because their cars just aren't all that special. So you might be asking, how does BMW get it back? I don't know. I do not work in Munich. I am not paid enough to answer that question. I honestly don't know where BMW goes from here to actually try to get back what they once were, and I'm not even sure if they can do it, frankly. BMW's competitors all seem to be trying different tactics to try to make inroads on Tesla. Audi is coming out with EV versions of its normal cars like the e-tron to not so great success. Volvo created an entire electric brand to take on Tesla Polestar. We'll see how that goes. Mercedes-Benz, frankly, hasn't done really anything on the EV front. They've been really slow. Reportedly, they're developing a lot of stuff, but it's surprisingly how slow it's been. But BMW, meanwhile, they were one of the first movers on electric cars very early on, and that it just isn't succeeding. It's just not that desirable anymore. And so you have the OK Boomer tweets and the desperate attempts to reach out to the younger buyers to get them back, to get BMW aspirational again. I just don't know. I don't know if it's going to work. Clearly, they're obviously going to try to make it work, but that's the situation. That's where BMW is right now. We'll see where they go in the future. But this is kind of a report on BMW's status. And thanks for watching more Doug DeMuro.